Hey there everyone, and welcome back to more Silent Hill 2. I'm still Negara. So we are finally all done with both sets of apartments, and as we can see back here, not only are they nice enough to give us a first aid kit after having to deal with that rather difficult boss fight, they also give us a pretty clear sign that backtracking at this point is pretty much cut off, if not altogether a tedious affair. But this back alley here is thankfully rather void of enemies, though it's not completely empty, as you can see.
You! It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
I don't know. Maybe I did.
What's a little girl like you doing here, anyway?
Huh? Are you blind or something?
What's that letter?
None of your business. You didn't love Mary anyway.
Wait! How do you know Mary's name?
So yeah, the little girl that we ran to from the third floor of the apartments is revisiting us yet again. I also love that little bear graffiti. It's super adorable. But yeah, she somehow seemed to know James's wife's name, and outside of seeming to say that we didn't love her, was also making a rather obtuse statement that we were maybe blind to something fairly obvious to her. But all that aside, this particular little covered area right here is a bit confusing to me because it seems like it'd be a back alley for delivery trucks, things like that. But no, it just leads directly into what we are going to find out to be in a second to be Rosewater Park. So I'm not really sure why they have a cordoned off back alley leading directly from a series of apartments directly into a public park with no parking signs. But either way, this is another very nice little area. There's thankfully just some additional items here if you make sure to go around searching. There's also quite a bit of interesting little pieces of backstory here if you make sure to take your time and investigate around. I end up having to backtrack just a tiny bit because there are two statues in particular in this park that you want to make sure and look at, if nothing more than to get some backstory into the Silent Hill mythos that might not be covered elsewhere. But yeah, this is where I realize that, well, we're at the docks now, so, you know, that's possibly our special place with our wife. So obviously I must have missed the statue, which is actually just right back here. It can be a bit hard to see since it's, you know, obviously engulfed in fog and off the beaten path. But this particular gentleman, Patrick Chester, is gone over a bit very rarely. He was a Civil War hero that, you know, lived and I think died in Silent Hill, though this was, you know, about 150 years ago, so it's not exactly modern history, to say the least. The other statue is a lot more relevant to the essence of Silent Hill. But yeah, so what we're overlooking right now is Toluca Lake. Toluca Lake has a very sordid history, to say the least, which we'll be finding out later about in the game. But obviously it's not the greatest tour attraction around, except that it does have one audience member.
Mary? No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife. I can't believe it. You could be her twin. Your face, your voice, just your hair and clothes are different.
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I? See? Feel how warm I am?
You're really not Mary.
I told you, I'm Maria.
Sorry. I was confused.
Where are you going?
I'm looking for Mary. Have you seen her?
Didn't you say she died?
Oh yeah, 3 years ago. But I got a letter from her. She says she was waiting in our special place.
And that's here? Anyway, I haven't seen her. Is this your only special place?
Well, there's the hotel too, I guess. The one on the lake? I wonder if it's still there.
The Lakeview Hotel? Yeah, it's still there. So, the hotel was your special place, huh? I'll bet it was. Don't get so mad. I was just joking. Anyway, it's not that way. It's this way.
You're coming with me?
You were gonna just leave me?
No, but...
With all these monsters around?
No, I just...
I'm all alone here. Everyone else is gone. I look like Mary, don't I? You loved her, right? Or maybe you hated her.
Don't be ridiculous.
So it's okay?
Yeah, fine.
So we are introduced to yet another very interesting and prone to wild mood swings character in Silent Hill 2. This is Maria. Along with her comes another new feature in the Silent Hill series, one that isn't actually normally brought up, which is, escorting someone, as after I look at this particular stone here, which mentions that this is apparently a monument to a number of people that had died of an illness or for some reason thrown into Toluca Lake. But yes, the fact that Maria is now following us around is actually going to be a factor in the endings, which, if this was your first time playing, you would obviously not understand that, especially if you were coming from Silent Hill 1, where there really weren't any opportunities for your protagonist to have someone tagging along with them. But in the case of Maria, she will, try to keep up speed with you. She won't directly fight anything. And as we'll see here in just a second, she will mostly attract the attention of monsters, which can be kind of a mixed bag, because if she dies, that ends up being game over for you, even though it's not really alluded to why that might be. But here we have another, this statue is a bit more important. Basically, Jennifer Carroll is not explicitly gone over in Silent Hill 2, but in regards to a bit of the backstory, the cult that ended up really taking hold of Silent Hill 2 later on the 1800s and 1900s, Jennifer Carroll was actually one of the founding members. She ended up being killed by puritanical Christians in the 16th century, I think. And basically she's considered something of a saint and martyr to the cult present in Silent Hill. Or the Order, I think is what they're called. Rather confusingly, though, in the Silent Hill movie, she's actually shown as being murdered by the cult itself. So yet again, the Silent Hill 2 movie, or the Silent Hill movie kind of getting confused with the vague backstory that the game gives. But yeah, we have quite a few different options here. I mean, there's Nathan Avenue that's wide open. There's obviously gas stations and Pete's Bowl-orama. But it would probably suit us best to go exploring the nearby streets first. And obviously, since we're now out of the relative safety of Rosewater Park, there's now going to be a lot more enemies that we've seen so far. No new enemies, though. I was going to speed up this entire bit here, but I noticed Andy's Pizza billboard is kind of drawing my attention, mostly because I don't think they got a lot of business with a phone number that was 000000. But yeah, mostly mannequins and lying figures will populate the streets. I would say for the most part, the only reason to really go out of your way down these streets is for some additional items in case you're hurting or just wanting to stockpile them. For the most part, though, I would say not to actually attempt to fight anything, mostly because, you know, you might still not be very well adept with the pistol, or, you know, you just want to make sure that Maria doesn't obviously start taking a beating, because something that has only come up a bit in some of the previous videos is that until you initiate combat with the mannequins, they will actually not trigger the radio static to symbolize that an enemy is nearby. So in actuality, in the fog, they could easily creep up on you while you're, you know, running around exploring for items, and then suddenly spring to life and start battering Maria to no end. Not to mention, as I said before, the enemies will actually go out of their way to completely ignore James to go attack Maria. But now that